The oath of office will now be administered to the governor-elect, the Honorable Greg Abbott, by our Chief Justice, Nathan L. Hecht.
General Abbott, are you prepared to take the constitutional oath of office?
Yes, I am.
And then with your left hand on your family Bible and on the Houston Bible, which governors have used for this oath of office since Sam Houston, and raising your right hand, repeat after me. I, Greg Abbott, do solemnly swear.
I, Greg Abbott, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The duties of the office.
The duties of the office.
Of Governor of the State of Texas.
Of Governor of the State of Texas.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution and laws.
The Constitution and laws.
Of the United States and of this state.
Of the United States and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're watching the inauguration of Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Lieutenant Governor Patrick just delivered his inauguration speech, and we just saw Governor Greg Abbott sworn in as our new governor for the first time in 14 years. This is at the state capitol on the South Steps as thousands of people watch in attendance, and we are just waiting for Governor Abbott's opening remarks.
That's right, Texas. We now have a new governor. Governor Abbott is expected to deliver her speech in just the next few minutes. We did get an advance copy of Governor Abbott's speech, and he will address a few key issues, including education, as the crowd continues to applaud.
It is a distinct pleasure and a privilege to introduce to you His Excellency, the Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you all so very much. And let me welcome everyone here to your capital, the people's capital of the great state of Texas. Texas is so great, we say the Pledge of Allegiance twice. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and your lovely wife Jan, to Speaker Strauss and your lovely wife Julie. I look forward to working with both of you as we continue to elevate Texas higher than it's ever been before. To members of the Texas Senate and to members of the Texas House, to all elected officials and to members of the judiciary, and most especially to all of my fellow Texans, let me express my deepest gratitude to the people of this state for electing me governor of the greatest state in the United States of America. For 14 years, we, the people, placed our trust in a man I am humbled to succeed. Along with his wife, Anita, he has been a faithful steward of the miracle that is Texas. And I thank Rick Perry for his unwavering leadership for this great state. Now, the path that brought me to this point today, I could not have traveled alone. I share today with so many people, starting with a woman of genuine warmth and character, my beautiful wife, Cecilia. You know, something special about Texas is that we have been a blending of cultures from across the globe, even before we became our own nation. My wife represents that, as she has now made Texas history as the first Hispanic First Lady in the history of the great state of Texas. And Cecilia and I share this very special day with our precious daughter, Audrey. Audrey, it is through your eyes that we see the promise of the next generation of Texans. You know, I am honored to be the Texas governor. But the title that matters most to me is that of Dad. I am proud to be your dad, Audrey Abbott. Family is everything to us, as is shown by the legions of family members who are with us here today. I won't name them all, but I do want all of them to know how grateful I am for your love and for your support. I do, however, want to recognize my father-in-law, Bill Phelan, and perhaps the most famous mother-in-law in Texas, mi madrina, Maria de la Luz Segura Phelan. And I also want to recognize Gary Abbott. Gary is my big brother, but he is also a retired commander in the United States Navy, where he served for 20 years in the most powerful military in the history of the world. So I want to say thanks to Gary and to every man and woman with us here today who has ever worn the uniform of the United States military. Their extraordinary service has secured our freedom to celebrate events of democracy like what we are celebrating today. But for me, let's face it, this moment was highly improbable. During this month, 30 years ago, I laid in a hospital bed, recovering from injuries that broke my back and left me forever unable to walk. The journey from that Houston hospital to the Texas governorship was possible because of two powerful forces. First is the grace of God. The book of Matthew reminds us that with God, all things are possible. I'm reminded of this when I hear a song that I often hear in churches across the state of Texas. It's titled, "You Raise Me Up." You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. As I begin my governorship, I humbly ask God for His continued grace and guidance. And I assure you, we will never forget that we are one nation under God. Now, the other powerful force that brought me from that Houston hospital to this inauguration is that I had the good fortune to live in the great state of Texas. Texas is the place where the improbable becomes the possible. You know, go back in time and you realize that many people thought that it would be improbable that Texans would overcome the total devastation at the Alamo. And yet, the unyielding drive for independence that has always filled the hearts of Texans helped them go on to achieve victory at the Battle of San Jacinto, and thus began the legend Texas has become. To this day, Texas has been filled with legends who started humbly, but who succeeded spectacularly. Where a boy like Dan Duncan, who grew up dirt poor in deep East Texas, started a business with just 2 trucks and $10,000. But with hard work and true Texas grit, he went on to become one of the wealthiest Texans ever. Where people like Colleen Barrett can climb the ladder from being an executive assistant to becoming one of the most powerful women in America as president of Southwest Airlines. And where a 13-year-old daughter of immigrants from Mexico worked nights in a drapery factory, but never gave up on her dreams. And now, Eva Guzman is the first Latina justice on the Supreme Court of Texas. And Texas is where a mother from Wichita Falls, who, like so many mothers, chose to stay at home with her children and raise them and instill in them the values that she thought were important. And although now, today, she is in heaven with my dad, she's no doubt proud that her timeless love and devotion inspired her son to become the 48th governor of Texas. These stories are the promise of Texas. These stories are not the exception, because our state truly is exceptional. I am living proof that we live in a state where a young man's life can literally be broken in half, and yet he can still rise up to be governor of this great state. As governor, I will ensure Texas remains the state that ensures that brand of opportunity for every single Texan. Texas truly is the land of opportunity, the place where anyone can achieve absolutely anything. But as great as Texas is, there's more we must do. More for the families who are stuck in traffic. More for our parched towns, thirsty for water. More for parents who fear their children are falling behind in school. More for our employers who are searching for skilled workers. More for our veterans who return broken from battle. And we must do more for the millions of Texans who are tired of seeing our state sovereignty and the rule of law ignored by a federal government that refuses to secure our border. As governor, I will ensure that we build the roads needed to keep Texas growing. Taxes raised for roads will be spent on building more roads here in Texas. I will speed up our needed water projects, and I will ensure that we secure our border. And it will come as no surprise that as governor, I will continue my legacy of pushing back against a Washington if they spend too much, regulate too much, or violate our state sovereignty. Any government that uses the guise of fairness to rob us of our freedom will get a uniquely Texan response. Come and take it. Now, don't get me wrong. We Texans aren't spoiling for a fight, but we won't shrink from one when the cause is right. For far too long, Washington has tried to remake America in its image. In Texas, we offer a different approach. We don't put our trust in government, we put our trust in the people. And we will never forget that the government is the servant of the people, not the other way around. As governor, I will also ensure that we keep Texas #1 in the nation for job creation. We will promote policies that limit the growth of government, not the size of your dreams. Yet, we all know there are too many who live on the fringe of opportunity. For them, there is no solace in #1 rankings that don't touch their lives. And I'm talking about our children who live in broken homes and children who are stuck in broken schools. On this point, we cannot be captive to partisan arguments because our children transcend politics in this state. If Texas is to remain the leader in job creation, we must become the leader in educating our children. You know, when you think about it, you realize that countries sometimes excel because of their military might. States are different. States will excel because of our mental might. Texas should be the source of the greatest minds the country has ever known. These great minds will not be molded by a cookie-cutter approach to teaching. Instead, they will be the product of great teachers who recognize the value and uniqueness of each and every student. We will cultivate those teachers. We will educate those students to fill the growing job markets that will keep Texas the economic engine of the United States of America. Now, with us here today is one of those teachers. My English teacher from Duncanville High School, Nancy Nickel. Mrs. Nickel taught me far more than how to read and write. She taught me how to reach for my dreams. Thank you, Mrs. Nickel, and thanks to all the tremendous teachers we have here in the great state of Texas. There truly is no place like Texas. We will ensure that remains just as true for the next generation as it does for those here today. I want you to take just a moment, and I want you to actually look at where you are sitting or standing. The ground beneath your feet is far more than pavement or grass It is the soil that centuries ago bore the hopes and the dreams of settlers who risked it all to come to a land that promised freedom and opportunity. You know, Scripture teaches us that tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. And character, hope. Texans are filled with hope because our lives have been infused with the perseverance and character that sprang from the tribulations that faced those who came before us. And we must make sure that this hallowed ground stirs the hopes and dreams of those who come after us. We must keep Texas on a path that years from now, people will come back and stand on this very ground as grateful to this generation as we are to past generations. To do that, we must do more than just work to find common ground to solve our problems. We must seek higher ground to elevate Texas even more, not just as a leader in this nation, but as a leader in this world. Because as goes Texas, so goes America. And as goes America, so goes the world. So we have to take the lead here in Texas, from Amarillo to McAllen, from El Paso to Beaumont. We must work together to ensure that even the future is bigger in Texas. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God forever bless the great state of Texas. Thank you.